Hello, everybody. This is your daily real estate practice exam question. Another simple one, but I love this one. Sometimes the simple ones are the ones where we could really chew on them the most. So let's look at this. Which appraisal approach computes the value of the land separately from the building? A, cost approach, B, income approach, C, comparative market analysis, or D, market data approach? Great question. So, we're going to be looking at this. And I actually, you know what? Instead of talking about each of the approaches, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to say comparative market analysis is a CMA. So we're going to take that out. So we're left with the three approaches to value that we have. Okay. So these are the three that an appraiser would be considering whenever they're doing an appraisal. And they have to consider each one of them. Do they have to use each one? No. They don't have to use each one. They're going to probably use one. Maybe in certain circumstances they'll use more than one. That's their opinion. That's what they're allowed to do that. So what I'm going to tell you is this. First, let's start bottom up. Market data approach. That's used for residential properties. That's where you take the subject property. Subject is what we don't know the price of, and we compare that to sold comparables in the area. Now, there's criteria that they have to meet, they have to be sold, so we have to know the sale price of it, right? So that we could adjust that up and down. If we don't know the sale price, we can't make adjustments to the comparable if it is inferior or superior to the home, to the subject property. So that's the situation there. Typically, are residential properties. So market data is not what we're going to be used in this description. This is not describing that. The income approach is next. B. That is when you have an income producing property that does not have viable comparables. Okay, so what do I mean by that? If it's a residential home and you're renting it out so it has an income, we wouldn't be using the income approach. We would be using that at a time where there really is no market data that would be sufficient or would be applicable. Okay, maybe the property is way too unique. So what we do is we either use, there's two methods within the income approach, and the two methods are the gross rent multiplier and the capitalization rate method. So those two things are going to be applied to the subject property, and they're going to come up with some sort of value based on that. So that is not what is described up here. So that is the cost approach. You're going to use that for special use buildings, buildings that do not have an income and do not have sold comparable data, okay, such as churches, public schools. This is typically for insurance purposes and for purposes of figuring out either the replacement or reproduction costs of the building. So what they would do is they would take the structure. So this is going to be your happy little house, okay, or actually your public school, your library, things like that. Okay, so that is what that looks like, okay? And what you're going to do is take that separately from the land it's on. You're going to value each one of them separate. You would apply your depreciation factors to the improvement, okay? And this is where people hear the wording never depreciate land. Now, listen to what I'm about to tell you. Land is affected by market conditions, so land could appreciate and depreciate. It can. It can go up and down in value, but in a cost approach, an appraiser will never depreciate the land because that will be considered double depreciation because you're already depreciating the improvement on it. And the three depreciation factors are functional obsolescence, physical deterioration, and economic obsolescence. A piece of land does not experience any of those things, okay? It could experience economic obsolescence, like being affected by the outside, but what happens is we do not apply as an appraisal process depreciation to it because we do that just to the structure itself. So the answer is cost approach. And guys, I hope you like that one. And if you did, remember, smash the like button, please subscribe. And if you need any private lessons or you want links to the Facebook group that we have or anything of that nature, the links are always in the description below. And guys, I'm going to see you real soon.